So good morning.
Good morning.
Namaste. Good to see you. Thank you for being here today. So, as I previously mentioned, for this month of July, Centers for Spiritual Living has chosen as its topic, whole, no matter what. And in case you missed it, at our first service of the month, we looked at the secular meaning of whole or wholeness, and then at what it means for us here today as practitioners of religious science or the science of mind. There is a difference. In general use, whole means all or entire in one piece, okay? It also means a thing that is complete in itself, all of something as the whole of the universe. During that first lesson, we were reminded that despite what anybody else in our lives might have said or tried to convince us of, there are no bad parts to us. We are whole. Oh, that makes a difference. So, we, in that lesson, revisited what Ernest Holmes taught. What we are speaking of as the whole is God. Oh, W, capital W. In this teaching, we affirm God is all there is. God's life is all life, including the life that's expressing through each one of us. And each of us is patterned after the wholeness of God. No bad parts, only God in form. That was the essence of that lesson. Last week, our presenter, our very own Debbie Edwards, embraced her topic of who am I reflects how I am. Who I am reflects how I am. There we go, that's better. And knocked the ball out of the park. It was a great talk. If you didn't get to see it, it's on our YouTube channel. So Debbie reminded us our authentic selves are the true expression of God. That when we withhold or try to bury parts of ourselves, we aren't fully living or fully expressing the divine nature, God in us, as us. But that developing our authenticity was absolutely fine, and it could take place in increments over a period of time. In other words, you don't have to bloom all at once. This week, the lesson is what we believe about wholeness. And the notes from CSL for this week's topic pose this contemplative question. What would it mean to really believe that we are all one global family and that we are unique and divine? Think about that question. What would it mean to really believe we are all one global family and that we are unique and divine at the same time? Wholeness, in today's context, refers to the collective, the entire body, the community that is all of us, one global family. So to begin, we reflect on what we are as a culture, a society, and the current assessment of the different parts that make up the world community, okay? How do we see the others in our world? How do our hidden cultural beliefs influence us, creating the blocks and the walls towards people who may not speak the same language, practice the same religion, whose skin color might be different, or who wear clothing that's not familiar to us? How do we begin to dissolve the lines of, separation between us and them so that we can move forward in the unity as we, where diversity is embraced and belonging exists? And then, how can we begin to build bridges between our differences by listening to each other to understand and committing to move forward over those bridges? Challenge. To start, I want to refer to one of the primary statements in the Declaration of Principles of Religious Science. The first paragraph of the Declaration, we believe, states, We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. That's the declaration that Dr. Holmes wrote in 1927. Next year will be 100 years. It was published in the first Science of Mind magazine, and it continues to be included in each issue up to this day. It's important for us to remember those guiding principles. But we, in our humanity, and I admit I'm human, sometimes lose sight of that principle. The world can get pretty messy and challenging. But sometimes we just need to be reminded, because we do know about the truth. The marketing teaser from Home Office for today's lesson reads, to embody the idea that all humanity is divinity and that we are one global family, we have to recognize the wholeness inherent in all people. When we leave anyone out of this equation, when we deny someone's wholeness, we deny God. Wow. A little spot where God is not. That's not what we believe. It's all God, including the difficult ones, the hard to love, the hard to understand, the ones that look different from us. Our current CSL Global Vision statement includes this phrase: we envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. That's a powerful statement. One global family. And Dr. Holmes offers this insight. We acquire a new sense of human values in realizing that all humanity is divinity waking up to itself through self-discovery and self-realization. And I would say that includes us. All people are of God. The only evidence we have of divinity is our humanity. So we hold a belief in this teaching that all people are expressions of God. Therefore, all beings are God in form and spiritually divine. Prentice Hemphill, the author of What It Takes to Heal, wrote, times are turbulent and unpredictable. No matter our affiliation or perspective, if we look soberly around, we can't help but see that the world is on the brink. We are exhausted, anxious, and agitated. Many of us have narrowed our visions and turned to protecting those we define as our own we, reining in our ideas of who matters and who is deserving of care. In our humanity, we tend to congregate, associate with, and support those in the world that have the same look as we do. There it is. We align with people who speak the same language, who have the same color skin, and who have the same thinking we do about how the world is and what it needs. We inherit those beliefs, those narrowing, kind of blinder beliefs from our families, from our teachers, and from the culture around us. Anything that we don't recognize or understand triggers something of a fear response in us. And the tendency is to back away or become still, or even to consider removing ourselves and not interacting with the others. And if the others are being attacked or even treated differently than us, well, a lot of times we just don't want to get involved. Because they're the others, and they need to deal with it. The reality is the others in our humanity just want what we do. Just want what we do. Peaceful existence, a place for their family, enough food, and an income to live reasonably, just to be happy. That's what everyone wants. And yet our culture, our society beliefs, even sometimes our governing bodies, separate the others and make them unworthy. Different, separate, not entitled. We have a true conflict going on, don't we, between what happens in the world and what we know as a spiritual truth. Spiritually, we say we honor the concept that all beings are expressions of God, but in reality, is that what we're practicing? The truth is, God is, in God's wholeness, has created all beings in its image and likeness. All beings are part of the whole. Leaving even one individual out means the global family is not complete. It's not whole. We may not appreciate how certain beings act, or the way they treat other beings, or the things they do in the world. But there's a reason and a purpose for them to be here, doing what they're doing, bringing what they bring, and being part of the whole. In all honesty, I do have to wonder about the idea of someone like an Adolf Hitler. He was a spiritual being, a part of the whole. But in my humanity, it's very easy to judge and separate and other him away from the wholeness of God. Okay? That's one obvious one to me. But there's good there somewhere. There's good there somewhere. One of the class lessons we were talking the other day, and one of the teachers said, no matter what's happening in the world, there's got to be good there somewhere. And when you affirm that, guess what? The universe is going to respond and say, oh, there's got to be good here somewhere. Because God's good all the time. So no matter what it looks like, there has to be some good there somewhere. And when you say there's got to be good there somewhere, there's a pony in that over there somewhere, the universe is going to respond. It's going to bring the good to your recognition, your realization. If we are to create a world we say we envision, then we need to let down the wall and consider truth. God in, through, and as all beings. All beings. So we are asked to begin to review our belief systems, our automatic segregation of people in the world as us and them. Does anybody ever do that? Oh my God. Prentice Hempel, in his book, What It Takes to Heal, wrote, he offers this idea that to belong is to rest into the collective, to be woven into the all. It's a feeling that what you bring is needed and wanted here. Think about that. To belong is to rest in the collective, to be part of it, woven into it, and the feeling that what you bring is needed and wanted. Part of the one global family. So not just considering every other as divine expressions of God or spirit, but to open our heart, our mind, our spirits, at our human level, to accepting and believing the person we used to call the other actually brings something not just different, but needed and even valuable to our community. Every single being on this planet has a unique gift to share with the rest of us. But unless we consciously choose to shift our beliefs and welcome and include the others in our world, and even in this community, we have shut the door on possibility, not to mention spiritual honesty. The gifts of God come to us through many channels, and we unknowingly, and often with cultural bias and belief, shut the door on the very channels God wants us to use or make available to us. I remember a story, I'm going to go off script here for a minute, the story of this movie, and these people were fighting to keep a rainforest from being destroyed. And they thought these certain trees were had the answer to a cure for a very rare disease. And they kept investigating the trees, and of course the people who wanted to harvest the rainforest kept getting closer and closer to this grove of these trees, and they were fighting very hard to protect them. And they began looking closer at what was going on with the trees, and what they noticed was there was a specific strain or specific species of ants that were integrated into this tree. When they actually looked at what was going on with the trees and the interaction with the ants, what they figured out, it was the ants eating the leaves on the trees that actually created a specific element that they were looking for and was missing from their cure for this disease. So they're looking at one thing and then trying to scoot the ants aside, and yet it was the ants interacting with the tree that created the benefit. That was eye-opening. Think about it. We don't want something small or irritating. Every time I have ants on my counter in my kitchen, I go, I keep thinking about that ant thing. It's like, are you valuable in my life? Anyway, consider that. Think about that. Something so small. The truth is, I never know when the person who's been an other in my world up until a moment ago will say something and bring something or write something that opens up a door, not just for me personally, but for our whole community. The community of California, the community of San Jose, the community of the United States, the community of whoever. One person can have an insight that can make a change for all of us and really benefit and grow our community in ways that we couldn't imagine before because we chose to listen. Okay? There's this beautiful reading in the notes today provided from Home Office. It's written by Thich Nhat Hanh, for those who studied him or followed him. And it has a definition of spiritual community that I want to share with you. And then he includes the significance of each individual. A community of people walking together on a spiritual path has a great deal of strength. Its members are able to protect each other, to help each other in every aspect of the practice, and to build the strength of the community. There are many things that are very difficult for us to do on our own. But when we live together, meet together, learn together as community, they become easy and natural. We do them without growing tired of making a strenuous effort. The community has a collective energy. Without this energy, the practice of individual transformation is not easy. Think about it. Here we are out here, and then you find a community, and all of a sudden you have all these things unlocked that allow you to begin to grow and to see and to experience and to. When we live together in community, it becomes a body, and each of us is a cell in that body. If we are not part of the community body, we will be isolated, hungry, and needy, and we will not have a suitable environment for practice. We can visualize the community body as a forest. Each member of the community is a tree standing beautifully alongside the others. Each tree has its own shape, height, and unique qualities, but all are contributing to the harmonious growth of the forest. Looking at the trees standing steadily alongside each other, like that, you can sense the beauty, solidity, and the power of a sacred forest. Our community body is going forward on the path of practice, and its eyes are able to direct us. The eyes of a community are able to see the strong points as well as the weak points of every member of the community. By community eyes, we mean the insight and vision of the collective body of the community, which includes the vision and insight of all of its members, from the youngest to the eldest. The energy of the community body has the capacity to protect and transform us. As a member of the community, all we have to do is make our contribution to that energy. This is called community building. It is the most precious work we can ever do. Pulling together, visioning together, practicing together, in support, to support, and create a world that works for everyone. That's a bigger vision. I believe we have a climate of inclusion in our community. But I also think as individual cells in the body of the community, intentional, conscious attention to what we say, what we do, how we act toward the others in our world is a form of spiritual practice. Like treatment, like meditation, spiritual reading, contemplation, journaling, conscious, intentional attention to how we are with the others in our world is basic to achieving the goal of a world that works for all, a global family. When I meet with someone from a different culture or a religious background or ethnic background, instead of reacting and othering them, what the lesson today suggests is that I take the time to find commonalities between my background and beliefs and theirs. There's a concept called bridging that lends itself to a sense of belonging. I'm going to talk about belonging, welcoming with a gift. And CSL notes describe it this way. Bridging happens when two or more people or groups come together across acknowledged lines of difference in a way that affirms their distinct identities and allows for a new, more expansive identity. Bridging rejects the idea of us versus them, but without erasing what makes each person unique. To see bridging this way requires compassion, patience, and open-mindedness. Bridging isn't about proving you are right. It's about listening with curiosity to another and being willing to be vulnerable and courageous. Bridging honors the humanity in all people, even those whose views are radically different from ours. I can't help but think that to pay attention and listen and honor and respect would be an invitation to another being to be authentic, to really be who they are, to share with us their gifts, to open a door to an exchange of ideas that would set the foundation, a brick in the foundation for that world that works for everyone. So the challenge today, the invitation, is for us as students of this teaching to set an intention, to pay attention, an intention to pay attention, just to notice, to start to notice, and maybe make a conscious decision, give it a try. You know, somebody you don't know who looks different, who comes from a different culture, different background, an other, you know, maybe open the door and see how it works. Try bridging the differences between us, between them and us. Find that common ground, because that's how we begin to build that global family. That's how we heal, when we acknowledge and not separate, when we embrace and not push away, when we recognize the needs of everyone, because all of us have the same basic needs. When we stop belittling others because they have needs and really understand it's all of us, our culture, our society, our world, can begin to heal and grow and move forward as a community, addressing the issues that face all of us. So I'm going to do a treatment, and if you'd like to join me in that intention, that's what my prayer will be for, is to consciously choose to move in that direction. So please join me. Beloved, I take a moment to ponder the ideas from this lesson, this information that's been provided to us this morning. This affirmation, this renewal of insight that all beings are expressions of divine nature. Each and every one of us is your life manifest and expressing. We are one community if we choose. And in community we are powerful. And we understand as long as we keep making them others and separating, we are crippling our own. We are limiting ourselves. We are shorting the door on a world that works for everyone. So by this prayer this morning, I set the intention to pay attention, to consciously choose to practice in my conversations with others outside my community, to listen, to learn, to invite, so that I can understand and appreciate and honor the divinity in each one. I accept that I am guided and supported in this. I am protected. And that as I choose to set this intention, opportunities unfold for me in absolutely perfect ways for conversation, for exchange of ideas, for acknowledgement of commonalities that begin the bridging process, the construction of that global family. So this is my prayer, that I am guided consciously to pay attention. And by this intention and by this prayer, I am supported in that by an infinite intelligence, a creative power that hears my prayer and knows my truth and supports me in this unfolding always. Gratefully then, I accept this word manifest. I include here each one who would align with that prayer. And I give thanks for this teaching, for this community, all of the insight, the truth, the wisdom, and the love that it brings to the world. Thank you, beloved. I accept, I let be, and so it is.